Hey, everyone. Okay, so this is Ziki, and I'm really happy that I am back here. I want to apologize because I've been so much away. Okay, the reason is this. For those of you who follow me on other platforms, I told you I did not have a computer. So because of that, I couldn't be live. Okay, but anyway, let's see if the network is going to permit us to have a smooth live streaming. We are talking about the viral video of the Limpopo Health MEC, that has been criticized. A lot of things has been said, okay, about that video. And also we saw that she came out to respond to that viral video, and she is maintaining a stance saying that, well, her duty is to serve the people of South Africa first before she can even think of saving SADC. She also stated that the patient in question was not on emergency. Okay, she was not on an emergency. She said the woman was involved in an accident in Harare, and it was her friend who told her that if you go to Limpopo, you're going to be served. So they say this woman, if she was pregnant or it was something else, it wouldn't be like that. You'll be justified to criticize me. But please don't criticize me because this woman was not on an emergency. It's someone who was told by someone to come to Limpopo to receive medical treatment. She also stated that, many foreigners come to to just to cross the Limpopo to come and have medical care in Limpopo. She said a lot of things, stating that Limpopo alone has got about 5.7 million people, and 91% of them do not have medical aid. So the department is under pressure, and now having a lot of foreigners flocking in again, to be served under those limited resources is straining the health, department in Limpopo. Okay, but of course we saw that after that viral video, a lot of people, have come in criticizing it. We saw even politicians coming in. We saw the EFF saying she must be removed from office because of that inhuman treatment that she gave to that Zimbabwean lady. And also, when it comes to the general public, they also have their own opinions. We have South Africans supporting and saying, well, what she's doing is what we all want, put South Africa first. Okay, the truth has to be said. And we also have foreigners, saying, well, it was very cruel, it was very insensitive. She was not in the position to say that. A lot is being said, But my question to you, my friends, is what do you think? Okay, was she justified to say what she did to the woman? Okay, and also for those of you who are in the medical fraternity, did she act according to a professional contact or anything? Okay, so those are some of the things. So I'm going to first of all play for you the video, the viral video. Then I'm going to play for you the response that you gave, and then I'm also going to share with you some of the comments that have been given, by people on social media pertaining to this issue. Okay, so let's first of all listen to the viral video that is in question. You speak short. And then how do you find yourself in Villa Villa when you are supposed to be with Munangagwa? He doesn't give me money to operate you guys. And I'm operating with my limited budget. Oh, well, you can't appreciate that. You are killing my health system. You are killing my health system. When you guys are sick, I'm hearing these days, you just say, let's cross the Limpopo River. There's an MEC there who's running charity department. It's not. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something that is truthful and painful. Stats SA goes and count people during the census and tell me that in Limpopo, we have got 5.7 million people. And tell me out of that 5.7 million, 91% do not have medical aid. They are dependent on the state. 9%, they would say, has got medical aid. They depend on private hospitals. And then they go and give National Treasury. When National Treasury allocates its budget, they said Limpopo has got 5.7 million people, and they subtract the 7%, 9%, and they give me the budget of the 91.
to do all these operations. Now, I am here, instead of using the budget for what it's meant for, I'm operating for what Munangagwa is supposed to do. And that is why when my people of Limpopo want health services, they can't get. And that is angering the community. Because you are coming here to, I was in George Masai. We are busy operating Mozambique National everywhere. And you are not even registered anywhere. You are not counted. You are even illegal. And you are abusing me. This is unfair. It's unfair. I can't go to Zimbabwe and get health care. Do you think they can allow to operate me? It's for their own people. I went to Canada recently. You know, before I entered the country, before they give me a visa, I must show them that a proof that indeed if I fell sick in Canada, I'll be able to cater for myself.
Okay, so this was the viral video that a lot of people have been talking about. And now she also came out later on to respond to this, say, well, she is standing her grounds. She's not changing anything. Okay, her duty is to save South Africans first before she can even think of saving SADC. Okay, so let me just play for you a video clip from what when she responded to this viral video.
Is to make sure that the people of Limpopo live a long and healthy life. And if I'm able to clear surgical backlogs for Limpopo, I will start with Mpumalanga and Northwest and all those before I think of SADC. I want to ask you this. For us to be expected, I want to ask you this. In government, there exists a term called protocol. And also on the parallel side, there's a conversation in the country right now about ministers overreaching and getting involved in operational matters. Were you the right person to be delivering the message to the patient? It is the responsibility of the MC for helping Limpopo to make sure that the people of Limpopo live a long and healthy life. When people of Limpopo are waiting to be operated and they are not getting joy, they come to no one other than myself. And when there are challenges that I see are affecting even our initiative as a province, I will have to address those challenges. So yes, I will have to deal with anything that has to do with health issues in my province for the sake of these people of Limpopo. You know, there's one thing you must remember. These people whom we said they must be beneficiaries of the Rural Healthcare Matters project, they are not me and you. They don't have any other option. Their option is the public health services in the Limpopo Department of Health. These other ones who are foreign nationals illegal, they have gotten options for their country to serve them. Now, their last hope of the Limpopo people, which is this Rural Health Matters project, when it's being hijacked, it is again defeating the very same last hope that a child of a domestic worker would be operated and go back to school, probably graduate, and come and help her mother to take care of the mother. Now, he might remain disabled for the rest of his life because as government, we would have failed the people of Limpopo to make sure they have got that access to quality health care.
Okay, so this was her response to the viral video where she was being criticized, but the main thing was a lot of people were saying, why did she say what she did to the patient? And pertaining to the issue of the patient, she said that this person was not on an emergency. She said the lady was involved in an accident in Harare, and her friend is the one who told her that, well, if you want to be treated, just go to Limpopo. This is where you're going to be treated. So she was saying, well, if this woman was pregnant or she was in a sort of an emergency, you people, you'll be justified to criticize it. But she's saying you don't need to criticize me for this because the person was not on an emergency case. Okay. So after that, we then saw the EFF coming in to say, well, she needs to be fired from her job, because of her contact. We don't tolerate such kind of, behavior. she's a doctor. She must know how to follow protocol. She must know, a professional ethics and everything like that. Okay. Now again, we saw a lot of people now divided, like the general public, very, very divided. Some people are in support, some people are not in support. Okay. I think we already know who is in support and who is not in support. But at the same time, those who are in balance, they're saying, well, what the doctor stated in the video, the effects that, the Zimbabwean health sector needs to be revamped, a lot needs to be done, but they're only against her telling it to a patient. Okay, they're saying instead of addressing a patient, she was supposed to address the relevant offices. Okay, maybe the Ministry of Health in Zimbabwe, or maybe even the Presidium itself. Okay, because since she's also at a high office level, she's able to talk to them. She's able to talk to the Zimbabwean Presidium. Okay, so this is what people were saying. But I'm going to read for you some of the comments that came in from social media, and then we are going to continue with our video. Okay. So the first comment that I have here is saying that this is inhuman. What an insult. Moreover, a woman telling another woman on sickbed this nonsense. Okay. And some people have labeled Phophi as an evil woman. Right. Someone says doctors are trained to save lives, not to interrogate patients. Although she's saying the truth, she is in the wrong field. She must go and work at Home Affairs. Okay. And then someone says, it's only in South Africa where you will find a doctor humiliating and interrogating a patient. God heal Zimbabwe and bring it to good shape. Okay, go and register to vote in 2023 so that we can have our breakthrough. All right, so let me add someone here. Someone wants to be added in this stream. Hey, Flo.
Hi Ziggy, how are you?
I'm doing good. How have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. Long time, eh? Not
Long
hearing
time.
from you. Yeah, things are opening up, eh? Everywhere.
Yes, they are. They are.
Mm,
Anyway, you
mm.
know the story that we're having today, Dr. Phophi,
Ah.
it's going viral.
Guys, yeah. People, there are limitations everywhere. Even Ubuntu has limitations. The very same constitutions that Zimbabweans are talking about, the South African Constitution, has a limitation clause. You need to understand where the MEC was coming from. And by the way, I need to go back to one of your comments when you were mentioning that there's obviously divided opinions. No, I have to disagree with you, Ziggy. There's no divided opinion about what she said. We are all in agreement with the content of what she said. Right?
Yes.
What bothers us is the human being in us. Would you have said it? Was it the right time? But the content itself, we are all in agreement. There's one guy who was telling me, but shouldn't that what she said be directed at Mnangagwa? I was like, is Mnangagwa sitting on that hospital bed? No.
Okay, I hear
You
you.
direct the conversation to the person you're talking to, right? So it cannot be that, we are shifting goalposts here. The lady sitting on that hospital bed, to me, seemed like she's quite an educated lady. She could actually answer back. She could understand what the minister was saying, the MEC was saying. So we need to understand context. Then there's also the argument about the Hippo oath that doctors take,
Yes.
Guys, let me give context to this oath. So when she was there, when this MEC was there, She's no longer, she's a trained doctor, but she wasn't there as a doctor. She's there as the custodian of finances in the department, budget control measures. So the argument is wrong. She's not a doctor. Even if she was a doctor, say we were to assume she was a doctor, you look after your own. Her mandate is one. You look after your own with the budgets that you are given. The moment we allow quite a lot of clouding of the issue, we tend to now lose focus of the issue. The issue is this. It cannot be that the minister is saying, I have 2 million individuals that I cannot account for. And that is what must worry us. Budgets, it's quite obvious. What she mentioned, where exactly did she go wrong? Where exactly? Because if we were to go to the critical aspects and question, was the patient on that hospital bed, at the end of the day, did she receive her treatment? She did. Didn't she? She did. And that should have been the question. She received the treatment. The issue, yes, it's far too big for the person sitting there. It's far too big.
So that is where the question is, like, was it the right person? Was it the right time to address the issue to this particular patient, okay, who is already, in distress?
But is Mnangagwa going to sit there, Ziki? Mnangagwa will never sit there. At no point will Mnangagwa be on that bed. So who do you address it to? Who are you going to talk to?
I mean, like, what if she could have, have a press conference instead of facing the patient?
But the reality of it is this, as she mentioned, we've got national that deals with those diplomatic issues. And she has been giving interviews, clarifying herself, throughout the day. Yes. If you listen to all her interviews, she doesn't change her position. She's saying, people, we have problems here. We have problems in that I'm allocated a certain amount to look after a certain number of individuals. I have required the services of experts or specialists. Those specialists are complaining, So her measures and her planning is just not working. So the issue is this: call a press conference and say what? Probably the people that will be there will be saying, give us proof, right? Give us proof of what you are saying. Here is proof.
Yes. Someone is saying Ziki Sadaki has been talking to Zim about economic hardships caused by illegal migrants. Zim knows about it, but ignore it, okay?
Exactly. So the question is this. Remember, Ziki, you may say, right, is it her fault, that the Zimbabwean situation is this way? We all have a part to play. Yeah? Let's tell the truth. We all have a part to play. If, within the context of South Africa, I may be crying about corruption and all sorts of things, but somehow, some way, I play a part in that, right? When I vote and I continuously vote for ANC, I play a part.
It's true.
So the person sitting on that hospital bed was an adult who is often of a voting age. The conversation, yes, the conversation could have gone a bit, but I can assure you, for anyone to have acted the way the MEC has been acting, it's pressure, it's constantly seeing this happening. It's constant. There's no way a proper human being in their right mind, sober, without any pressure, will not have done that. But you can tell that within her environment, she's forever seeing this occurrence.
Interesting. Okay, now someone here was saying that if bitter truth was a person, it is a sorry situation indeed. However, that should also be applied to ministers and presidents who fly into the country using state funds to get medication instead of fixing our own hospitals. South Africa for South Africans, Zimbabwe for Zimbabweans.
Let me answer that. Are they coming to a public hospital?
Of course, private.
They are not. They are coming to a private capital system that talks about money. How do you regulate such? Because by its very nature, you pay and you get your service.
It's true.
It is not for South Africa to actually stop people who are paying from getting services. It cannot be.
But you know, this has been a call that has been made. I think I've come across this call for many times where they're saying stop the leaders from getting into South Africa, from getting services from South Africa, including them, you know, the health services from South Africa. You know, it has been a call many times.
But you see, Ziki, it goes back to what you would like to believe about the Zimbabwean government, right? Why would you be stopping someone from entering the country legally and obtaining a particular service? Why would you do that? Because it's legal. You pay, you get the service that you've paid for, then you move on with your life. Here, the only discussion in respect to this lady is the illegality. We wouldn't be having a problem if she was paying and she was legal.
But was it confirmed that she was illegal?
She was, the minister said that. The minister said that it's unfortunate that in this situation, every person, doesn't matter whether they're illegal or legal, should obtain the services. So she got the services in spite of being illegal.
Yes.
We have a bit of a problem.
Go ahead.
I was saying, you know, the issue, guys. Everyone hears about how things are in Zimbabwe and all sorts of things, right? So until you contextualize it, a Zimbabwean person can give proper reasons why they are so in need, why their situation cannot accommodate them. It's going to be a difficult thing for others to understand it. You know, guys, which country can accommodate what is happening in South Africa? No one. First world countries will never accept this.
Well, I understand that. Anyway, so let me continue here. Another one says, I don't see anything wrong with what the mess has said. Some foreign nationals are getting grant money from South Africa and go back to their country after receiving it. We have lawless countries, okay? And then after the EFF say that, well, they were calling for Dr. Phophi to be released from duty. We know that a lot of people again came in to react also to that, saying, well, You know, Mr. Malema, my mother can't see. She has been waiting for about 8 years now for eye surgery. You seem to be sympathizing with the Zimbabweans when our own South African people cannot get the services she will be getting from the hospital. South African people are being told to go back home with their sickness. This is leaving us with painful hearts because we have people, we have what? Who are coming from outside receiving treatment.
That is true. I'll tell you this. No? I've had an episode with Kalafong Hospital, and I demanded, as a taxpayer, that my son should be attended first. It cannot be that I'm a taxpayer and somebody else just walks in and think they're going to be in front of me. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. That's not going to happen. Not my son, whose mom is paying tax.
Wow.
We pay for this tar road. We pay for this infrastructure. You know, so the issue, the EFF statement. Oh, guys, who takes EFF seriously? They are meant to condemn. They will never run this country. They will never govern this country. And you I'm sure you have noticed that their stance in as far as migration and immigration is concerned has actually slightly changed. They are no longer as hard, that borders should be open as they were previously. Because they also know that at the end of the day, I, as though, must vote. They will issue statements every hour, but they will never. Dr. Phophi is not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere.
Wow. Very interesting then. Okay, so someone said here, she stated hard facts, albeit in a crude, undiplomatic, and unprofessional manner. Okay, however, that is the truth. Hey, Los. Okay, we have lost that. We have lost them there. Okay, so my question to you is this. So you are, first of all, let's talk about the addressing of the patient. You say is justified.
No, listen, as a human being,
We want
I
to
have
break
to
it down into parts.
exactly. The issue is this. Would I have acted that way? Possibly. I have to tell you the truth. I'm a bit harsher than her, normally. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I don't understand what diplomacy is when you are under pressure. The lady, has to work with what she has been given. And it's a strain on her. It's strain on her work.
I get it. Anyway, welcome, Bullet. You might want to contribute.
Yeah, sorry. Hello, Ziki, and hello to the lady who's on the panel. And hello to Lucy also. Can you hear me, Ziki?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. My 2 cents is that if you listened to the interviews that the MEC was doing today, the South African government has been asking to be compensated from the SADC countries. But they are saying that the SADC countries are only paying private clinics that help their people. They are not responding back to the government on the people who were helped in our public health, public sector. So this thing is, I'm sure that the MEC was also tired because now there's nothing that they can do because SADC countries do not want to pay. But I think that saying this to a patient, it was a bit harsh. Maybe a press conference, and then she should have said how she feels about everything. And another thing is that the next thing in Limpopo that is going to happen is that public schools, we are going to have a similar problem on that. We are going to have a similar problem where uh, kids from other countries are going for free, and then it's going to have a similar problem just like we have on the public sector. So South African citizens will respond because the government is not doing anything. So the citizens will respond, and the sad part is that it looks bad on South Africans when other Africans are looking at us, and this, I think this will isolate us. I don't wanna lie. Have you also seen that what Botswana has done now by banning two? I think it was tomatoes and potatoes that only Botswana farmers are supposed to
Yes, yes,
to
yes. I saw
farm
that.
to farm this. So if we start doing this to patients, I think it's going to anger other African countries, and they are going to block us from getting certain deals. Maybe when we we are doing business, I think it's going to have a negative effect if the government doesn't enforce laws, because citizens will react. And now you can even see that the frustration that's being taken out on patient by the MEC. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Let's open the mic for Lozy.
Hi, Zeki, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Hi, it's been a while.
Yes.
Greetings to the panel. Yeah, greetings to you and to the panel and to the brother who just spoke now. Yeah, just before I get into my 2 cents, I just want to address the last statement he made about isolation. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but if you look at the economic of South Africa, we don't make much from the continent. We only tap into the potential of the continent. Even our biggest traders are not from the continent, although we are the biggest supplier to the continent. That's the chain that might get affected, but no African country can afford to isolate South Africa. That would be like Europe now, how they isolated Russia and they want to are feeling the heat. South Africa, in terms of Africa, it's more self-sustainable than the rest. So I think what you say makes sense when you say the citizens are going to rise above, because it looks like what the government is, the agenda of the government it doesn't correlate with the agenda of the citizens. The citizens want this, and the government is doing that. So that's the biggest problem I see. But unfortunately, even the African leaders know that if the people of South Africa rises, it's because they don't want to feel their own people in the first place. So they don't have any right to isolate South Africa in that stand. It will be going against the Pan African ideology, because South Africa has done its best to help so far, I believe. So getting to what happened to this topic, I think hey, I don't know what's happening in this country, to be honest. And I believe the MEC, she's a member of, she's coming from ANC, the national government. So her reaction, look, we can justify all these things. I just might disagree that she reacted not in a good way. She gave this whole thing an excuse for people to have something to hold on, because now people are judging how she reacted than focusing on what she's reacting on, because I think the most important thing, her message went through, but because probably foreigners and some South Africans who have got their own agendas, it doesn't work for them. So they now judging. When you win an argument and someone throws like they come for your personality than judging what you basically than arguing what you're pointing out. So I think the message went out there. The governments of African are here. The African governments are hearing now. But the thing is, these governments don't care at the end of the day. So this noise might fade away, and then next week, next month, back to normal. And we must also be careful because ANC is also looking for 2024. So they will be making noise about this kind of issues. They will be throwing these stands every now and then. At the end of the day, they're not deporting illegal immigrants. They're not doing much compared to what the citizens are rising. And the problems keep arising. You look at last 2 weeks ago, the whole past 2 weeks, it was about the Zamazama issue. And anything could have happened at that time. Now it's a national shutdown. Anything can happen from now as well. The government has got its own priorities. They're ignoring the masses on the ground, and then that's just dangerous. The other person to be careful of is Julius Malema. I always tell my people that Malema is working for the Western, he's a Western agent. You look how he responded now. Malema wants to exploit any African he can. So he will use any opportunity to keep most Zimbabweans here illegally so that the corporates of South Africa can keep exploiting him because it benefits him a lot. So when you're dealing with people like Malema, you're dealing with a very, very dangerous person and he's very influential. He's very influential because he knows the key people in the country. He knows the key people in the country who are running the industries. He's working with them to keep the cheap. But the most important thing for Malema is to exploit Africans, but he will paint a different picture to achieve that agenda. So people must be careful of people like him. I always said Malema is a Western agent, and if you look at Twitter, his party, how they're responding to this matter, it's exactly what I'm saying. Because if Malema cared much about the Zimbabwe issue, he will be speaking against Mnangagwa. He will be coming with solutions in terms of how can we dethrone as an PF. He will be speaking against the sanctions of the West. He hardly speaks about the sanctions of the West because he's working with them. Yeah, thank you, Zeki.
Wow, very interesting there. So in other words, you're saying, well, in as much as what has been said by the mess is correct, she was on point, but also maybe are you disagreeing with the person she addressed it to?
The deliverance, how she delivered the message,
Oh,
I think she could have done it better so that nobody has got an excuse now. Because I've seen, like, if you look at social media, if you look at people like Malema, if you look at the trenders on Twitter, they're not talking about what she's addressing. They're talking more about how she delivered what she was saying.
I get it. Anyway, Flo, do you have anything to add from what Loz has said?
Hi, Ziki. Not much. I think they've covered everything. I fully agree. Like I said, it's just a personality issue. It's a character issue. How we deliver certain things to, how we communicate may differ. But the substance itself, I fully agree with her.
I think this is also what I've been telling people throughout the day. Like, I think the whole thing, it shouldn't be taken as just a package like that. I think you need to separate, to say, well, in this way, maybe, but what did she say? And then you pick from there. And I think that way is going to be okay, because when you just bracket everything, then it means some other important things might be sidelined and people will be focusing on only a certain aspect of the whole situation.
True. Guys, you gotta build your own. You got to build your own. You cannot ride on others' back forever. It's impossible. It is just so impossible that we no longer have the tax base to carry everyone. People that are supposed to be paying tax are leaving this country. Are we going to have to end up looking like, in a similar position as Zimbabwe, for others to understand that this is not the land of milk and honey? No, guys.
Okay, so when people were coming, okay, go ahead.
Don't be like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on that people who are living and they are telling us these people are contributing to tax, those people can be replaced. The problem is companies that are creating employment. We should be worried if they are leaving. But people who goes and work overseas, that's not a problem because they can be replaced. We should worry when it's companies that are creating employment.
Well,
Yeah,
so
like
we also okay, Bullet. Okay, open your mic.
Now, Lucy wanted to say something.
yeah, I was saying it ANC has got like very much conflict of interest here, because if you look at what ANC is trying to do, they're trying to kick the West out of Africa. But the problem is they've been doing that in the past 28 years at the detriment of native South Africans. So, by all means necessary, carry Africa to impress African leaders so that they can be on your principle, on your side, so then you can unite and keep the West. It's as if we are begging other Africans to be on code and protect Africa. You know, we're not the only ones who should want the betterness of the continent. The issue of Zimbabwe could have been addressed a long time ago. As I said, I blame people like Malema are very dangerous, because if you look at his moves, he will go against anyone who wants to liberate Zimbabwe at this point. That's why even he's throwing so much punch at this MEC, because she's poking noses where now Zimbabwe needs to do the work and needs to all work with Zimbabwe. Malema doesn't want it. That's why now he went on to invade Kenyan politics. Last week he's been talking about Kenyan politics, and Kenyan people are addressing their issues. They are trying to find justice in the current elected person, but he has already jumped in and chose who must guide Kenya. Why don't we ask ourselves why Malema is involved and why Malema is praising the current leader who won about 50% of Kenya is deciding to not go with him and 50% is choosing him. So there is an agenda that Malema only support what benefits Malema, and there's something is getting there. The same thing Zimbabweans should be thinking about is, because I see most of them follow him, they believe in him. He's very dangerous for you guys, and you mustn't follow people like Malema, because he's not in charge of South Africa. Not even any national party is in charge of South Africa. The danger we see here is that the people on the ground are going to react, and poor Zimbabweans or poor migrants in poor areas are going to suffer if this thing is not addressed. People like Malema, who live in one of the most secured areas on the continent, he wears Western labels, drive Western cars. Everything about Malema is Western, other than what he spits out of his mouth. They're very dangerous, because you cannot preach one thing and do this. We have to be careful with how he responds, because if you look at that journalist who was arrested in Zimbabwe, who published, I think it was in 2019, who exposed the government as ZANU-PF about how gold is going out of Zimbabwe to the rest of the world, and then there's nothing much to show for it. It's just pure corruption. And people like Malema, I believe they benefit from such circumstances, such conditions. It's up to the people of Zimbabwe to stop waiting for a hero, especially a hero out of your country. Time for people to actually stand up and know that when they face that government, few individuals are going to die. They have to lay down their lives. It's like if you look at what's happening in Ukraine now. I do support Russia. It's a political choice, but if you look at how the Ukrainian people are fighting against one of the most powerful military, you have to understand that for your nation to stand up in any condition, one must be willing to sacrifice their lives. You know, I mean, for how long are Zimbabweans going to run away from Monangwa when he's few soldiers with guns? You know, at some point, you're going to have to understand that those soldiers are also Zimbabweans. They were born from Zimbabwean mothers and fathers. If you want change, you're going to have to face all of those things. And I believe when these soldiers, they few, there's more Zimbabweans than them who can just throw them over a day, you know.
Wow. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
What I'm wondering is that why are other countries refusing to pay for their patients that were treated in our public health system?
I was going to come to that question.
Yeah, that's because no one, even the DA, they are not raising this issue that our fellow other countries are refusing. The next thing they will be calling us xenophobic. but they are refusing to pay for their citizens that got free health services from our government. And the second thing I wanted to say is that even if there's a new government in Zim, let's be realistic. There are sanctions there. And if the new government is still pro-African and the new governments want to give wealth to the Zimbabwean people, those sanctions won't go away. I don't want to lie. They won't go away. It's either they get a puppet government so that things become better in Zim. If they get a government that's going to want most of mass production to be on the hands of black people, those sanctions will never be lifted. That's the sad reality. Even now we can check, because other countries like to make fun of South Africans that we do not own anything. But for example, go to Botswana and search of the richest people in Botswana. You will find that they are not black people.
Interesting. So I wanted.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to ask you, about that issue of, SADC paying for the patients. I came across, a statement where it was saying, well, there was an argument that they cannot really pay for these patients because they are not the ones who brought them in or who are bringing them into the country. So the people have to foot their bills if they have to.
But now, Ziki, you see the hypocrisy now. They are saying they are not the ones who brought them in to receive that help. But then when South Africa beefs up the borders, they are saying we are heartless. You can see what they are doing. This is not a mutual relationship where both parties are benefiting, because now we are helping millions of our African brothers for free, and then we are asking something from their governments, and their governments are responding like this. So when we beef up the borders, they say that we are heartless. It's like everyone is expecting South Africans to take out from their pockets, but the same thing is not done. And another thing, Ziggy, I wanted to ask, because you are from Zimbabwe, I want to know, in the informal sector of Zimbabwe, do you have foreign nationals working in the informal sector and in low skilled jobs? That's one thing I was wondering.
No, recently because of the economic, situation in Zimbabwe, I wouldn't say there are any. There might be there one or two, but not something that is significant.
And just to add, Zeki, on what he's asking on, I don't think Zimbabwe's got like enough industry to hire migrants. Zimbabwe is really like been collapsed. But even Zimbabwe at their worst, their GDP now it's roughly 17 billion. And mind you, the total population of Zimbabwe is less than 15 million people. To what we can say 5 million are in South Africa. So basically, Zimbabwe could be left with 10 million people to 10 million. So I think when it comes to things like medical healthcare, national healthcare, it's just that the Zimbabwean government doesn't care about their people. This is like a basic need. It's at the basic of any society to provide healthcare for your people. I think looking at that 17 billion, which is in US dollars, it can do a little when it comes to healthcare. Because I was listening to Hope, your journalist. He mentioned that they only need roughly 15 million to get the probably the biggest hospitals in Zimbabwe to be running. And you look at this other guy. I mean, if I'm correct, you about 5 of your ministers, they've bought Lamborghinis for themselves, the SUVs. And then when you calculate the total amount of those cars, I think it amounts close to 5 million US dollars. So you can see that your leaders, just like everywhere in the world, they just don't care about citizens. And why will they care when they've got the dirty South Africa who can look after the entire region when they don't have to look after their people? And one thing we should ask ourselves as South Africans is that we say one thing, but our government is not doing anything as well. So the question is, why is the government not doing anything? South Africans are very vocal. They have been raising this issue in and out, but the ANC hasn't done much, to be honest. So if you look at Zimbabwe, it's been penetrated with South African corporate, same as Botswana and Namibia. And then the reason why Namibia is cutting some agricultural suppliers like cucumbers, green peppers, and tomatoes is because they're trying to get hold of their production and start to produce, which South Africa has been supplying for the longest. So if you look at the stats, South Africa is the largest exporter in the SADC. So the question is, to reach this agreement and to improve SADC, it was done at what cost, what agreement? What if our leaders didn't tell us and they went there and agreed with the whole SADC region that we will use South Africa as the healthcare of the SADC? We will never know, but they're letting these things happen. Those are the questions we should be raising among ourselves. Because I've seen, if you look at our media now, they are actually against MEC. And you have to ask yourself, who's paying these guys? The first question they asked in one of the second interview was, are you xenophobic? Our own media.
Yes, I heard
They
that.
know you get the point, Zeke. So there's an agenda. And it's clear that our government is on our side. It's not on our side as well, just like the government of Zimbabwe and the government anywhere in the SADC. So these guys, they are relatives. These guys in government. They don't negotiate or approach these matter issues like me and you, because we are citizens who are affected. But for them, they sit on the dinner tables and structure whatever they're going to do in the SADC, and sometimes it doesn't even prioritize me and you. It prioritizes their agendas and their Western corporates. That's it.
Wow. Anyway, Peshu, you're welcome.
Hi, Ziki.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah, you know what? Regarding Mpone, the MEC, Phophi, I think people just decide to pick certain portion of the conversation that she was having with the lady. Because if you listen from the beginning, why she was there because here is the patient who is not prepared to pay for the service that is rendered to her. You can go to any private hospital here in South Africa. Before they admit you, your medical aid and everything needs to be in order. So this it's a government hospital. First of all, she is here illegally. She came here illegal. She doesn't have a document. It's somebody who was not feeling well. The friend was like, okay, come in any way, as my neighbor says, that even if they can ride the crocodile on the back, and then it's as long they are here in South Africa, it's fine. And then she followed that route. They provided the service to her. So a service granted, you need to pay for it. She doesn't pay. So basically, what she was saying to her is that the service has been given to you. According to my budget, I don't have anything extra for providing to other people freely. So, yes, the deliverance was wrong. But whom are you supposed to tell? Do you want to tell me if you owe me, I must phone your father or either your mother to say, hey, here's Ziki, here is owing me? It's you and me. You wanted my service, I granted the service. So for your service delivered, you need to pay. So why should somebody call maybe the president? And we know that this is not the first time that has been said. It has been, I understand there are negotiations that are taking place because they even wanted to involve your ambassador so that they can negotiate with him, so that what must they do, because seriously it's too much. It's too much. I feel pity for people who use government hospital because they don't get the service. Last time there were more than 7 or 8 South African women who were pregnant, who were lying on the hospital floors. It was like the hospital floors of Zimbabwe, because the beds were occupied by the illegal immigrants. Illegal. They are not even here in the country. They just come for that service. It's unfair. It's incorrect. So the ready clubbies, the media, all those people, those are the clever blacks of South Africa. They know that they are doing. all the people who are benefiting on the soil of Zimbabwe, believe you me, they will stand for any nonsense that is done by the Zimbabweans. Though, and when you check, when the Zimbabweans were also was also stated that they were involved in all the criminality that is happening here in South Africa, those people are not saying anything. They are mute. They are quiet because they know that, hey, we are benefiting here. So since we are benefiting, we can't step on the on the corners of the Zimbabweans.
Wow. This is
Yeah.
very okay. I want to read a part of what the EFF wrote here. They said the Afrophobic attack by Ramatura on a bedridden patient is cruel and malicious and has no justification. It is a slippery slope because health rights are human rights. And to attempt to rationalize the denial of the provision of healthcare on the basis of someone's nationality will lead to a gross human violations whose logic is pure hatred. Okay. I think this is what we are all agreeing to, right? That the delivery of this whole thing was out of line, but the message that was being sent is the correct message that should be sent out for people to know what is
Absolutely.
really happening.
Absolutely, Ziki. The manner in which she was delivering it, but the content of the message that she was saying. I agree with her. I agree with her. People who use the government hospitals or the clinics, they will tell you how long are the queues. People will go there early in the morning, and then they will find the foreigners who can't sleep well in their shacks and decide by 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock that they are already there at the gates. It's unfair. We are paying the tax. Those are our monies. That's why we talk about it. That's why we complain about it. Because there won't be any hospital that is standing here in South Africa without our tax money. That's why it's called a government hospital. We are basically paying for it. Are we paying it for somebody who comes from outside the country to come and enjoy that benefit while our own people are lacking on that? It's unfair. Nobody can go to Zimbabwe. And anyways, we know there's no hospital that you can go to, but to anything. And what baffles me and annoys most of the South Africans, it's when the Zimbabweans will tell you about their education that makes them to run away from their home. And right now, as they are also so much educated, since they are busy with the completion of the or either the migrating to the other forms or of the visas here in South Africa, apparently they can't even complete the forms. And I'm asking myself, what type of an education is this? Or has South Africa diluted their education while they were staying here for 10 years? I don't know. Yeah, that's my take on that, Siki.
No, thank you so much, Peshe. Thank you so much. I also came across where some people were saying the elites should be careful on how they comment about this whole situation because at the end of the day, the people who get affected are the ordinary people, but not the elites. This was shared on Twitter.
Can I add on that, Zeki? Because I also want to add 2 points from what Pesci was saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Just to be clear, if you look at that whole video and how this thing blew, MEC, she was prepared. This whole thing was planned. And remember, ANC, as I said, 2024 is close. Every month, every now and then from now, all political parties in South Africa will be pulling out stands to as if they want to address the issues of the citizens. There's no need for MEC to go that far. If we have got a minister, we've got a premier, we've got a law, we've got a president, we've got soldiers and police who can put this nonsense to stop. At the end of the day, it goes back to what I said. This is a stunt. ANC, it's NPF, all the Southern governments, they know what they're doing. South Africa doesn't have, we couldn't even be in this position in the first place. This whole thing could be avoided easily if the government wanted to put it to stop. But they putting out a stand to just keep us busy. We will be here talking on live streams on YouTube, and then the media will be running their propaganda that side, and then Malema, their puppet, will be pushing his own agenda as well. Just to come back to that Malema guy, if it was the Swaziland people person who was addressed in that video, Malema was gonna be quiet because Malema is not benefiting from the king of Swaziland. He hates him so much because he's not been able to penetrate Swaziland and get what he wants. Obviously, he's got ZANU-PF in his pockets. He's not going to say anything about ZANU-PF. In fact, he will defend ZANU-PF, which I think he's doing by now already. And getting back to the whole video thing, if you look at that video, it was who recorded that video, and the MEC was aware that she's been recorded, and I think everything she said was planned. She knew how it was gonna do, and even the patient. If you look at the camera apparently was on the side of the patient pointing at the team and the MEC, but then you could only get the voice from the patient. So we should look at these things deeper because politicians live in their small villages. They communicate, could be from the next government to the next government of a sovereign state. They plan these things ahead of us. What we must be doing as South Africans, and which I'm going to encourage you, Zeki, to tell your Zimbabwean folks, is to kick ZANU-PF out. We are going on our side. We are going to do anything we can possible to kick out ANC and at least have a government that can just secure us by 2024. Because these stands that are coming from ANC leaders, we must be careful about them. They use Aaron Mutwaleli, they use the other minister of, I think it's of foreign affairs. She also came on the media and did the stands. The question is, we got on this mess, first of all, by ANC itself. And the resources they have in their pockets now, they're not doing much to deal with this issue. It's Zamazamas every month, it's the illegal migrants. And my brother there, I can't see his name on the E data. He mentioned something about the schools. The schools are already invaded just like the hospitals. It's equally the same. And remember, our education is actually free. The public education is so free that from primary school for disadvantaged families up until they graduate to tertiary. Do you even know that there are some students that I've seen being interviewed from Nigeria who even went to tertiary by NSFAS, and they were not born here. They came here as foreigners. So everything has been hijacked. What we must be searching as citizens is, how did we get on this position with ANC? Because ANC, they're not telling us what's happening. All they're doing is to pull stands to confuse us. It's as if ANC is not the leading party if you look at the way things are playing now. You know, that's just my 2 cents after what Peishi said.
In regards to that. Okay, so in all, I don't want to keep everybody long here. I think we've been here long enough, and I think we've exhausted this topic. We just wanted to clarify on the issues because, when you go outside on Twitter, on Facebook, there is no, reasoning that is happening there. Most of the thing is just like this side is just saying this, and this side is just saying this, but there is no other content that is being added to see what exactly is happening, you see. So this is another issue whereby you find people just bash each other, vulgar ways and all this kind. But if you want to see, like, what exactly are you saying? Did you really listen to the video? What did you get from it? That kind of thing. Sometimes on social media, you don't find it like that.
Yeah, I understand that it's easy to get lost when you follow the Twitter and all the social media. But if I can ask you, Ziki, as an individual, on your personal capacity, do you think I can go, let's say I don't have relatives, nothing at Zimbabwe, just decide tomorrow I wake up and there is a functional hospital, I go to Zimbabwe, and thereafter I don't even pay it, to show that the humanity is still there. The service will be granted to me before they ask me anything because I need this surgery. And once everything is done and good, and they're like to me, pay.
For what I believe is that in every country there are laws that govern a country. Okay, people don't just walk in and out. you have to follow. That is why they might even ask you like, but how did you even get here? You are sick. So how did you cross to get here? There are many things that you follow. So to answer your question, I would say every country has got laws, and rules that govern each and every institution in each and everything that happens in a country.
You see, that's what I hate mostly about all these clever blacks, including the Simba Chitando, who's now saying he must be stripped all of his qualification and all of that because what she has done, it's inhumane. Yes, her deliverance, I don't want to lie, I'm not a bias. Her deliverance was not good. But what she was spitting, it was the facts. So for them not to be clouded about only the deliverance and not sharing what she is saying, basically, if you are gonna take out of those 2 points and decide to address one, you are missing the problem. So it is what it is. We can talk up until we are blue. All that we are saying, us as South Africans, we want to fix our country. So the Zimbabweans, if they don't step up and hold and stop this thing, because I was on the chat, I think it was Olu was telling me that, okay, what about since everybody from Zimbabwe, when you talk about them and the mess that it's in Zimbabwe, they'll tell you about 2008. After 2008, Zimbabweans voted twice. This is going to be the third time they are voting. They'll still tell you about, oh no, we are here in this situation because of Thabo Mbeki. Grow up, guys. Grow up.
Yeah,
So,
Peshi,
Ziki,
just to add on that, sorry, just to add on what Peshi said, very powerful. I wanted to close with that as well. South Africa during apartheid, there was a point where USA supported apartheid in South Africa, even Israel. These are powerful nations, but it didn't stop the natives of South Africa to keep on challenging the regime government. Zimbabweans cannot be using the old age excuse about Thabo Mbeki while they're to the reason why they're not facing their government and it may change. Because Thabo Mbeki, where is Thabo Mbeki now? He lives his soft life. He's somewhere cold. He doesn't care. It's the Zimbabweans who are suffering. So they must stop the excuse and face that government because then PF needs to go, people. They need to go.
okay, there's something that I want to add is that I've been following our parties here in South Africa. Truly speaking, I do not see a party that will liberate South African people. The only part I'm going to continue voting for ANC. I think pressurizing ANC is the best thing. I don't want to lie. DA or EFF or Herman Mashaba's party, it's a problem. And then on the Zimbabwean part, just like I have said, if you guys get someone who's pro-Western, then things will start changing in Zimbabwe. Then you can maybe pressurize that party to start doing things for you. But if you get someone who's not pro-Western, things won't change. And even here in South Africa, I think ANC is the safest bet. We just have to keep pressurizing them to give us the little that they can. But I don't see an other party that's going to make things better for Black people in South Africa.
Yeah. I wanted to just mention something. Zimbabweans and their knowledge of South African laws and South African rights and everything. Ask any Zimbabwean, they'll tell you about the South African Constitution better than they know the Zimbabwean Constitution. Those people know South African Constitution. The Zimbas of this of Zimbabwe, they are the first to tell us about our laws. Guys, study your own laws. Study your own laws. You will do better by knowing your own laws and forget about our rights. They nitpick whatever works for them in as far as rights, but not responsibility. Those rights,
Okay.
the opposite of it. Sorry?
I just wanted to. Or can I speak?
No,
Or
carry on. I'll go after you.
okay, sorry for disturbing you. Another thing I wanted to say that is if we DA starts ruling South Africa, you must know that things will be worse in Zimbabwe because the banks of South Africa, you know, most they're also enforcing sanctions in your country. You know that, Ziki. The banks of South Africa, they are enforcing sanctions in Zimbabwe. So if DA takes over in South Africa, things will become worse for SADC countries. The GDP of South Africa will grow because the country will be in the hands of white people, totally in the hands of white people. And the neighboring countries, they will suffer. I don't want to lie. Even this thing of banning South African vegetables, it will come to an end. I don't want to lie. Things will become worse if ANC goes out of power. Besides ANC grabbing land, if ANC doesn't grab land and they allow DA to go into power, their Western brothers will help DA to put more pressure on Zimbabwe because the only party that has been stopping this thing of that has been helping Zimbabweans, because if you check, I've been following Rutendo. I think you know Rutendo. Even if I don't like some of the things he's saying, but most of the things he's saying, you can go and search, you will find out that it is true. So our government has been allowing the informal sector to the informal sector to uplift African migrants, and this is helping Ethiopians and Somalians and also Zimbabweans. So when DA comes into power, things like this, that's why now they want to even grey-list our banking system, because the government is not doing enough to trace where does the money go. It's not only about terrorism, because some of this money is going back home to help Zimbabweans, to help Ethiopians, to help Somalians who are in poverty. So we should also check this thing of saying ANC must go out of power. It's going to be bad for SADC.
Can I go?
She needs to speak.
Can I go?
Okay, go ahead. You were speaking that time.
Right. You know, this is the danger of unregulated migration. You remember 2 weeks back, the Concord had to deal with foreign lawyers who wanted to be admitted as lawyers in South Africa.
I read that.
You know, the danger in that, I will show you what happens. You know, governance of a state in South Africa, in terms of the constitution, falls within 3 branches: the judiciary, the executive, and also the legislature, right? So what, according to me, my opinion is this: foreigners have realized that the easiest route to infiltrate governance in South Africa is through the judiciary, meaning the Zimbas, right? So they know immediately after admission, the only way, or the best way to get into governance will be to go to the bench. And luckily, our Concord saw through all these shenanigans and stopped it there. You know what bothered me? What bothered me about foreigners who come to South Africa and study your LLB is this: LLB is a national law. It's a South African law, fully packed with South African laws only. So the question is this: as a foreigner, you come to South Africa, you study LLB, you have no intention of going back home, right? Surely if you're studying a South African LLB, you have no intention of going home. So what are you thinking by studying other people's laws? And at the end of the day, it's, if you have to be admitted as a lawyer, You have to take an oath of allegiance to the South African laws. Is it possible for a foreigner to suddenly move aside and say, I'm not going to care about Zimbabwean laws? Today, I'm a South African and I shall jump when South African says I should jump. Makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. That's the danger of just not restricting certain things to foreigners. So
Yeah.
we have to basically go back to the drawing board as South Africans. We are under attack, and a serious attack for that matter. People are slowly infiltrating our very critical, important positions, important and leadership and governance position. You know, in respect to the ban of import from South African of fresh produce from South African by Namibia and Botswana, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. You need to protect your own. You need to skill your own. The same way that we as South African needs to do that for our own people.
Wow. An interesting perspective there. Anyway, thank you, Flo. Now, Lozi.
I was going to say, please greet Dr. Maponga for me in Zimbabwe. I wonder what he's gonna say next time. Him and Julius Malema must attend the same doctor for medical procedure for the mental checkup. You know, they need to assess their brain. They're not normal. Dr. Maponga and Julius Malema. I wonder what he's gonna say about this. But greet him for me, please.
We are waiting to hear his comments. I think he's currently just following to see what is going on and everything, but I'm sure he's going to respond to that.
Ziggy, I don't want people to misinterpret what I said. I'm not against the government prioritizing South Africans. People should understand that. I'm not against that. The thing is, I don't want to lie. DA doesn't like black people. And this thing of thinking that there's a party that will be able to help us besides ANC, I do not see that party. The only thing that we can do is pressurize ANC in prioritizing South Africans. So people shouldn't think I'm saying that we shouldn't prioritize our people. The thing is, there's no other party that will help us besides ANC. I don't know, what do you think, Lozi? Because Lozi, I see he knows more about politics, but I just want him to add on the parties of South Africa.
No, look, what you said is there's a sense of truth in it. 60% I agree with you, 40% I don't, and I'll explain. ANC, it's the structure that keeps Africa alive, and it's the only hope that Africa has in terms of kicking the West out and taking charge of Africa as a whole, or per se Sahara region, besides the North. I don't think they have much influence in the North. We need that to actually reach our full potential as Africans. The problem that I disagree with ANC is that they want to achieve that at the expense of the people of South Africa, especially Black South Africans, because they're the ones who are getting affected most by where they compromise in their ambition to achieve this one Africa agenda. In terms of local, ANC has done terrible in terms of managing South Africa in the past 10 years, from the President of Zuma and now the current one. The damage is too much. The services are poor. Everything seems to be falling apart. But obviously, not as compared to most African countries, we're still standing. So in a perfect world, I would say ANC needs to maintain the power they have, but only to deal with international geopolitical affairs. And locally, maybe we have a party like a coalition party of Women Mashaba, Wukiton, DA, EFF in many strategic areas where they can deliver services to the people. But unfortunately, we have to end up with the dominating national party at most that will attend the geopolitical affairs. I don't see any party besides ANC representing Africa with BRICS. If we lose ANC, it's over with our influence on BRICS. Or even if we remain on BRICS, Putin and Xi Jinping won't take us serious. If you look at the political landscape of China, they believe that they need to groom a president who's going to run for the longest period, carrying the agenda that they want to achieve. And it has worked for China and it's continuing to work. I look at ANC like that. I think ANC must be given enough time to carry the blueprint at the international level, because they seem to have conducted it so well. They've embedded the structure on Africa, and in the East, where you find China and Russia and India, they've strengthened ties there. I don't see DA. The first thing DA is going to do if they win power, they're going to destabilize that, because it's not good for them and their West alliance, because DA.
Okay, I think we have lost Lowe's there. I don't know what happened to his network.
But
In
you can see that's why I said that we should pressure ANC. Basically, me and Lozi, we are saying the same thing. That's why I said that we should pressure ANC to prioritize South Africans. I think we are, me and
I need
Lozi,
to
we are
open.
on the same point.
Okay, let me give a chance to SA Perspective. They've been holding on for a long time.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Zeki, I just want to say one thing. The ANC is a lost cause. I don't know what these guys are talking about. I just had a great laugh right now. First of all, okay, the only part I agree with is that the ANC is anti-West. That's what I like about them. But everything else, they're just a criminal organization. That's all they are, a criminal organization. From top to bottom, from bottom to up, criminal. There's no hope. South Africa will just become another failed state if they remain in power. We need maybe like a coalition government for the next 20 years or so. That's what I predict. It'll be a coalition government. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, they're hearing you. So especially, let me open your mic here.
Coalition government.
Hi, thanks, Ziki. Okay, thanks, Ziki. I wanted
You have
to
an echo.
Mr. E. I forgot what is his name. He doesn't even need to mention a DA, because DA it's not gonna happen, Baba. Here in South Africa, DA is not gonna rule this country. Yes, we can go maybe to coalition, but you will be surprised, because there is something that is brewing. There is a party that is gonna crop up next year, and it's full of the young generation, people who are so clear-minded, innovative, intelligent, who are not gonna sleep in our parliament. Who knows what this world going forward? Because talking of 20 years, all the people that are running these parties who are in parliament at the moment, they will be dead. So we are not gonna talk about the ancestors who are currently living. The young generation needs to take the rope and run South Africa, and it's gonna happen. Watch the space.
Wow. Let me see. I can't believe there are people who still want to vote for criminals. Okay. Anyway, let me read some comments here, and then I think I can be here up about. I have 5 minutes left for me to leave. So if there's anyone who just want to finish up, you can just say whatever you want to say, and then you can come out of the stream, because I'll be leaving in
Thank you.
about 6 minutes.
Thank you. I just needed to mention politics going forward, in SA. ANC is definitely not going to win. I mean, at most, they may just get a kingmaker in 2024 to assist them to carry on in 2024. But otherwise, 50 plus 51, definitely not. DA will never govern South Africa or rule South Africa. Never. They just don't have the skill set or the material. The most we will ever see from DA will be moving in Pretoria and Johannesburg, within the two metros. As for EFF, there will always be mostly kingmaker, but I really do think people like Herman Mashaba have an opportunity. He seems like the man knows what he's doing and actually does resonate with the majority of South Africans. But as for ANC, I mean, post the coming December conference that they're going to have, I don't see them still sticking it out after that. I think they're just so uneducated, the majority of them, that they have put their all into politics and it's no longer working out for them. And within their ranks, they have to fight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
may
much.
everyone have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, Zeki, I'm leaving as well. I'm bouncing as well. I just wanna add to what she said. I think as South Africans, we shouldn't underestimate the DA looking at the past elections. They came again. So I think we must be careful and have a party that can speak for South Africans, because if we don't have an emerging powerful party that is going to compete the whole year next year, we might have a problem. I don't want to see DA winning by majority in any sense. As for EFF, they're going to lose more votes. Yeah, thank you, Zeki. Thank you guys on the panel and everyone on the chat.
Okay, thank you. Anyone to say anything before I close?
The DA, ANC, and EFF are all dying parties. I doubt that the DA will have an outright majority in any time in the future. I think they might lead minority government. I mean, the next coalition government, we might have a white president. So I think that's one thing that might happen, but they won't get outright majority in the future. Probably Action SA will probably get outright majority. But yeah, I think I just urge all South Africans to go out and vote, and if you want change, because the ANC won't bring any change. I mean, guys, stop being deluded. The ANC is at 30 years and they've actually destroyed the country. Go out and vote. Thank you, Zeki. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, Ziggy, my last words also. I think 10 years from now, South Africans will be saying ANC is stealing votes. I think people do not understand that ANC won't go out just like that. That's the first thing I wanted to say. But coalition government in certain provinces, I see that in the future. But as a whole, I see ANC still being in power, and I still support ANC. I'm not a fool. Bohemen Mashaba, hi. Those are Western puppets, and I do not trust them. Just like in Zim, people in Zim are still saying ZANU is stealing votes, this and that. It's going to happen in SA. People are going to say ANC is stealing votes. I support ANC. ANC will not lose. People think that parties like ANC can be voted out easily. I don't think that's the case. Basically.
Okay. Thank you so much. See you next time. Peshi, let me unmute. Oh, it's not me. Okay, I don't know what is happening there. They're quite anyway. So thank you so much, everyone who joined the live stream. All we wanted to do was to understand what Dr. Phophi said. Seeing that the story went viral, we saw it in different media houses, different people, different politicians, government officials, everyone commenting about this issue. So we wanted to also know what you think about this whole situation. What I can say right now is that what the doctor said in the video, when I was talking to my friends earlier on, I told them, guys, we cannot just bracket everything and just comment on everything. We need to separate things here. Let's segment this whole thing so that we are able to give a fair analysis. On the first hand, I told myself, like, well, the way she was addressing the patient herself wasn't really, to me, I didn't really like how everything, the attitude and everything, I didn't like it. But then when it comes to what she said, what she actually said, okay, in that video, there is, it's a different thing altogether, okay, which I can relate to. Yes, in Zimbabwe, we have some problems in our health sector. Yes, we are having Zimbabweans crossing into South Africa for medical care. We understand that. We also understand that South Africa is having also, some problems, with catering with this influx of many foreigners that they have to cover and everything. So we understand all those things. So I also want to address I don't know, it's my sister or what. Her name is Faith. Faith is saying that she didn't like my facial expressions when I was playing. When I was playing the audios by the doctor, she said she didn't like my facial expressions. Anyway, I don't know what you wanted me to, how you wanted me to to express myself. I mean, how you wanted my face to be. But all I can say is I listen and I deduce and I pick and I choose and everything, just like everybody else. But like I said, this is all that I had to say for this. Okay. So thank you so much for everyone who joined me tonight. And I hope I'm going to be able to see you again. Like I said in the beginning of the video, the past months I was not having a computer. Okay. I had a problem, 2 computers, nothing. So I recently got another one. So that is why I am back again. I cannot, broadcast using a phone. Usually I love to be on the computer. It's very convenient for me, right? So this is all I wanted to share with you. But anyway, thank you so much to everyone who joined the comment, who joined the live stream. Thank you, Kay. Faith K. Okay, thank you for understanding me, all right? Edwin, thank you, Meras. And thank you to everyone who joined the panels, especially, I don't know, you were supposed to say something, but I don't know what is happening to you. Thank you, Lozy. Thank you to SA Perspective. Thank you to Flo. Thank you to Bullets. Thank you everyone who joined the panel. And I am planning on coming back. We're supposed to be having a guest tonight, a political party from Zimbabwe who was supposed to join us, but now they had another interview somewhere, so we had to reschedule. And they told me that they're going to be free on Sunday, so we're going to be bringing them in on Sunday. They're supposed to come in tonight, but they got caught up in another interview somewhere. Okay, so I couldn't do that. Okay, so Peshi, I don't know. Let's try one more time before I close. I don't know what is happening to her. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, I hope she will understand if I finish the live stream like this. So thank you so much, everyone. Please have a wonderful night. Let's remember that we are humans. We should love each other. And at the same time, we should also point out where there's an error. Okay. Errors can be corrected when people point them out. But if we cover them up and we don't want people to, some things to be said, it becomes a big problem. And also, let's not be oversensitive to things, okay? Let's discuss issues as they are so that we can be helped and we can help each other, all right? So this is all I have for you right now. Especially, I'm going to close him out like that.